how to create an assignment or how to assign activities to your class in our platform. Well, it's actually quite simple. First thing we're going to do is make sure we are in the correct class. Make sure you are logged in with your user. Once you make sure you're in the right place, go to the assignments section right here. Okay. And click on the add button. It's that simple. Okay. You will see a display menu of several activities we have the possibility to use in our classes. Now, we usually use only three, and these are the quiz, the offline assignment, and the essay. Obviously, you can use any of the ones here. Um, like I said, we don't frequently use them, but if you have a chance of going in and checking them out and seeing if they fit your needs, you're welcome to use whichever you want. Now, when to select any of these three? Well, let's go with the quiz first. The quiz is the most common one. It's an exercise creator. It has pre-made or pre uploaded options of exercises such as true false, multiple choice, fill in the blanks, matching, etc. So this would be the most common exercise we create or we assign in our classes. Even though the name is quiz, it's not necessarily a quiz per se or a test. It can be used as a review or as a simple um, working activity for class. We do also use this one for formal exams, but I will be walking you through that section in another video. So right here, the quiz, most common one. Offline assessment. This is when you want to give the students information and actually the students don't have to do anything, just receive the information, and you as a teacher have a chance to grade it. Now, it can be used for, like I said, sharing any kind of information. Um, you as a teacher monitoring your class, giving them certain documents, certain exercises, etc. But everything you create in an offline assignment, students will not have an option to answer it. Okay, they don't have an option to upload files, to click on an answer button, anything. It's just for them to see, and you as a teacher have all the options of modifying, editing, grading, etc., etc., etc. Usually we use this to grade participation in class. Okay, this along with the rubric that I'll be showing you in a minute is the most common way to grade participation in class, and so students can see it. It's also very commonly used for our class codes, which is like our class layout page. Every lesson receives a set of codes. So we grade those, and the grade is as class participation. So that would be basically what we use offline assignment for. And the essay, well, like it says here, respond to a question or an instruction with text and optional attachments. Now, this is the key word right here, optional attachments. Whenever we want students to send either a link, a file, a video, a photo, any kind of attachment that we ask students to send, this would be our option. This is commonly used by all teachers especially when we are online and we have no way of checking physical books. Good strategy teachers have developed is, okay, we're going to work in so and so page, but I need you to send me a picture of the pages we worked today in class with the answers. Oh, exercise so and so, or I want you to send me a video about the activity, or maybe they will post a question, something like, what do you think about so and so topic on page so and so and so? Send me a video with your answer. Now, this would be your option right here. an essay. Or even if you want to send them a video with the instructions saying, okay, for this task, you have to do this, or it's a project, or you have to create something at home, this would be your best option right here, an essay. Okay, so let's create a quiz. Let's go ahead and create a quiz so you can see the settings, the layout, and how we do it here in Colegio. All right. First of all, we have two tabs here. One is the overview, which is the general information of your activity or assignment. Then we have the options, which I will be showing you in a minute. The first thing we're going to do is create a title. Now, titles, we have to have like a code for titles. Okay, so we're always going to start with the trimester, with the term. Okay, and like I mentioned in the document, there's trimesters in the year. Every trimester is composed of two partials or two terms, two terms per trimester. So we're always going to mention the trimester and the partials. So I'm just going to, sorry about this. I'm just going to be T2, P3 as an example. And then the title of the activity. Now, some teachers go with the week, other teachers go with the book, pay. I don't know. This all depends on your grade, the grade you're working with, and whatever you as uh, as a group of teachers or your team decide to name the activities. And usually, it's just something like a simple title. Okay. Now, there's no maximum score. Other activities do have an option of modifying the score, but here, since it's a quiz, it all depends on the number of questions you assign. So that's why it doesn't give you an option of a maximum score. How many attempts will we give the students? Now, I recommend one, and there will be times where coordination will tell you these activities or this certain period will only allow one attempt, or now you can give more than one attempt. It all depends on the situation we're in at the time, but I usually recommend just one attempt maximum. Allow late. This will allow students to send assignments or to turn in assignments after the due date. Okay. Only enable it if it's something you think students might have a hard time answering on their own, or so you don't have to be enabling it manually. You can allow the late, but I recommend just one attempt, no late allowed. Category. We do have different categories. As you can see, they are our skills: listening, reading, speaking, and writing. We also have evaluation and partial exam. Every teacher is in charge of a specific skill. So in my case, I'm going to select reading. Let's say I'm the person who has to create assignments or is in charge of planning reading. I would select reading. My grading should always be normal. My start date, okay, and the time. This is super important. The hour. My class starts Monday at 8 a.m. And since I'm going to be using it in the class, it's going to be Monday at 9:50, which is when my which is when my class ends. Okay, this is super super important because sometimes we forget to edit this part. And what will happen is once you save it, students will be able to see it in their platform, but there will be no way of them for them to answer it. Okay, they will contact you and they will say, "Teacher, I can see it. I have it here, but there's how do I answer it? There's no button. There's no start. There's no answer." So when that happens, it's because usually the date is either the wrong one, we put the wrong year, or whatever. Just make sure these two are always properly set: your start and your due date. Okay. Lessons. This is the period we're assigning it right now. Okay, so I'm just going to click partial 3. And the grading scale should always be Escala de Calificaciones Primaria Secundaria. All right, that's our general layout. Down here, we should always include instructions and an image. Okay, we have to keep in mind that a lot of us students are very, very visual, and this is also helps a lot when you're in virtual mode and your students are trying to locate the assignment. And if you share your screen and share them the instructions and share the image, it'll be easier for them to locate it and say, oh yes, it's the one with a little picture about this and this and this and this, instead of just a black and white title, black and white letters. It's always useful to have an image there. So let's say I'm working with reading. So I'm going to upload my image. You can do it from your resources if you have something saved here in the platform. Uh, Google Drive also, it gives you access to your drive or to your local computer. So in this case, I'm going to choose something from my computer. And since I said listening, then I'm going to select this one. This is my size. Okay, there's no need for description and there's no need for border size. Just click on save. And also, if the size is not what I want, I can also edit it from here as well. Okay, so that's my image. And then after my image, I should always include instructions. No matter how redundant, no matter how simple you think the task is, we should always, always include instructions, keeping in mind we always have students that are absent-minded, that are distracted, and um, part of the what we want students to learn is always read, follow instructions. So super, super important to write instructions. Okay, so today we learned about PH sound in class. Look at page 13 in your AMCO book 3 and answer the exercise at the bottom of the page. Right? Follow instructions. Or you can even repeat the instructions that you will find in the book. Okay, so instructions have to be very clear. They have to be very, very specific as far as, are students going to use a book? Are students going to use, are they going to check something online? Are they going to use a file? You can also insert files here if you need to, by the way, right? You can insert a link from internet with a web page. You can insert an image. You can upload a file. Let's say that we need a listening file. You just go to your local resources again, or your computer, or online, or whatever. And basically, this works as our text editor, right? Okay, so you got your instructions, you got files, whatever you need in that. Instructions always in bold, and size 18, please. Okay, some teachers even change the color here, which I think is pretty neat. Change the background color and change the font. Let's see, I'm going to give it a pretty purple here. Okay, and I'm going to save. You can do as many changes as you wish here. You can be as creative as you wish. Okay, good. I save it. Okay, here it is. Right, instructions. Today we learned about the PH sound, blah, 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 so forth, so forth, so forth. It says right here, this quiz cannot be taken because it still does not have any questions. All right. Oh, but before we go to the questions, sorry, I skipped the options. So I'm going to go back here. I'm going to edit it, and I'm going to go to the second tab that I talked to you about, the options. Okay. Timed, if you wish to have a time quiz, normally we don't do it, but if you wish to, you may enable time. If students want to receive feedback, grading, since we usually use one opportunity max, so this is just fine. Use the latest score. But if you do have more than one opportunity, always go for the best score. Okay. Disable past due. This is if you wish for students to have access to it through the rest of the year, no matter what the date is, which I do not recommend, because then they'll be probably doing activities from partials either after the time of class or before the time of class, and it's crazy for teachers to be keeping up on when students are doing what. So that's why we give them a time limit, and it should always be respected. Autocomplete, we never click on that. Library, this is where a copy of your quiz or your main file is going to be saved. Always select organization. Okay, that's elementary school, that's colegio. If you select school, that's going to take it to an archive for Colegio Chihuahua, which is kindergarten, elementary, secundaria, blah, blah, blah. So always choose organization, which is only primaria. Randomized order, I really don't recommend it unless you actually need questions to be randomized. Let's say that you're going to have students taking the same activity and you don't want them sharing answers, or just making it a bit more dynamic for them than a randomized order. But I normally don't recommend randomizing. Allow review, yes. Students to allow students to have a quick review before they submit their answers. Allow users to jump between questions. Yes, we do that too. And these right here, we have questions, response, correct answer, score, and feedback. The only one we do not enable is correct answer. Okay, because that gives one student submit and it gives it their grade. It gives them the correct answer, and sometimes we have all these friendly people who contact each other and say, "Hey, I have the correct answer." It doesn't happen very frequently, but just to avoid any situation, we just click there and we don't allow correct answers. We save it, and there we go. Those are the basics. We're ready. And like I said, it's going to tell you that it can now be taken because there's no questions. So the next part is creating questions. Okay, this is the name of our file. You can add questions from a question bank, which I will go over in a different video, but this is working from scratch. It says add questions, and these are the type of questions you can add. You can add a true or false, a multiple choice one answer, multiple choice many answers, fill in the blanks. Free form, again, this is also for writing, usually for writing, or if you want them to submit any kind of attachment or resource, this would be your type of question. Matching, hotspot, arithmetic, etc. This is basically what I have, and I can also import questions from my library or create a library if I want to, which is not very common in our case. So I'm just going to go with one of each really quick, and this is my editor. Okay, now my editor allows me a fast way of creating the question, which is basically the question, answer, correction, feedback, and that's it. Or it also gives me a little bit more complex editing mode. If I go to HTML, now it's going to give me all the tools that I had in the instruction tab back there, right? If I want to insert a link, if I want to remove a link, if I want to upload an image, a file, formulas, codes, I can edit my font, I can cut, paste. Basically, works like a text editor in Word. Okay, if I want to create even a web conferencing, right, a link to a web session, I can record an audio, I can record a video. These two are very helpful for giving students instructions, especially for listening. Maybe you want to record the instructions instead of just them reading the instructions. You can have them listen to the instructions and then actually adding a question. So um, Here you add your question. I don't know. I would say, how many syllables does the word computer have? Okay. And then maybe I can insert a nice image, right, to make it a bit more attractive for my students, right? I can even edit the background color, the text color, etc. I don't know. Just get as creative as you want. Okay. And oh, sorry, it was a true, it was a true false. So I can say, um, sorry about that. The word computer has 5 syllables. Okay. And you as true or false. In this case, I would say no. My correct answer is false, right? And it says correction, display a correction box of the student select false. This is in case you want to make any kind of comment. For instance, if I click yes, then a box would appear, and then I say, remember to count the syllables as we learned on page so forth, so forth. This is if you want to give feedback when students make an incorrect answer, okay? And correction weight. If students enter an incorrect phrase, subtract this percentage of the question's points, right? You can go from 50% all the way to 100%. Get feedback. Yes, I want to give feedback, right? Hey, good job. Good job on your answer. Congratulations. Or no, be careful, right? True feedback. Great job. You did a great job. Yes, that was correct. It was true. False. No, sorry. You need to review the exercise again on page whatsoever. All right. Then I would just go down here and I have 3 options: save and return to the question bank, save and add another same of the same type, or save and add another. So in my case, I'm going to go to save and add another because I'm doing it from scratch. Okay, so I already have my first question there. I'm going to with my second question: multiple choice, and so forth, so forth, so forth, so forth. Basically, all these questions have the same layout, the same settings. It just all depends on whatever your needs are to creating that activity. Okay, so once you have at least one question, okay, your assignment is ready to start, and it gives them instructions by default. It says the quiz is not timed, so you can pause it and resume it at any time. If you cancel the quiz, your answers are discarded and they are not counting as submission. All right, great. So once you have those 2 steps, then you're ready to go. You're ready to assign this quiz to the class. And over here on the right, we have like the general information, right? You have your assignment. What type of assignment is it? A quiz. The maximum score is 1 because I only have one question. My grading is normal. The category is reading. The schedule, I said I wanted it to start on January 24th at 8 a.m. And I want it to end in January 24th, 9:50. Okay. And this right here is the important part. Not given. This means that this is not in the student's web page or platform yet. Okay. So there's several ways of doing this. Some teachers actually keep this as ungiven until they're actually in class and they give it so students can do that. Other teachers, they like to be prepared and do it beforehand and just give this. Okay? Because actually, it doesn't matter. The only thing that will happen is that students will be able to see it, but once again, they will not have this button right here, take quiz, because they will only be able to open it in the designated time that you specified here. Of course, if you click on that option where they can work with past due and unscheduled activities, they can do it whenever they can. So that's why I don't recommend using that. Okay, so now it's given, it's ready. Students can see it, you can see it, but they cannot answer it yet. Okay, good. Grading. Okay, from my students, Do 0 students have missed this? 0 students have submitted it, and I have graded 0 students. And if I go here to gradebook, it'll take me to that spot, that place in the gradebook where this activity is. Options: it's an organization, maximum attempt. It doesn't allow late submissions. It uses the best score. It's not timed. It's not randomized, etc., etc., etc. It's going to give you all the options that you selected here. Okay, so that's basically how we work with activities. Very, very little differences. Very, very little changes in the type of activities. This is our basic layout. Once you have the activity, go to assignments, and you see we created one that is here. It's already there. It's for reading, it's for partial 3. Starts on January 24th. It's due for January 24th. It's given. This is super important. It needs to be in the little, with a little green tick. This means that students are able to see it, because sometimes we're in class and, okay, guys, let's finish this activity, this, and that. And the students, I can't find it, teacher. I can't see it. I don't have it. Why? Because either you forgot to give it, or you forgot to send it to your main class, which is another issue I will be covering in another video. But just make sure that it's giving. The maximum score is 1 because I have only one question, right? Percent of the period is 100%. Total of students submitted and graded, like I said, 0. Okay? And that's basically how you work with an assignment. Here you can see all your assignments. The assignments you have given, okay, which is just win. Not given, I have this other example. And this section right here is kind of like a statistics section. This will tell you how many students have answered, what was their grade, what was the best score, what was the lowest score, what is the grade ratio. I mean, it's pretty cool because it makes like a bar graph, and it gives you all kinds of different statistics. So for you as a teacher, you can decide based on the history of these statistics. You can see, well, my team or my class, I think performs better when it's a true and false exercise. I think they do better when it's a free form exercise, or whatever the case is. You can keep track of your activities and how your students react to those activities once they've started answering, right, the quizzes. Um, but again, that's pretty much it. That's the way we work with assignments. Remember, just make sure it's given, and the settings are what I walked you through in this video. Let's go on to the next topic.